All right, we are live. Good morning, everybody. Joined here today with my buddy Picksburgh Anthony,
What's up,
my
guys?
fiance Destiny, Shamrock Pixie, and RVA Flips Justin. Thanks
Hello.
for today, Justin, buddy Pittsburgh.
Popping out the chat here real fast.
Justin.
That was me, guys. Sorry. I forgot to close the YouTube after I popped out the chat.
What did I do with the chat? I popped it out. I have no idea where it went.
Oh boy.
There it is. All right.
What better way to start a show than me not muting the YouTube, huh? We'll just kept that tradition alive from the last show.
It wouldn't be us if we didn't have some sort of goof up, right?
Exactly.
Dude, I used to always forget to do that. I would always forget to, when I would do the morning live shows, like with Lonnie and John. One of us, it was usually me, but one of us would always forget to mute the freaking thing. And then it's just like, it would play like the ad before. It would just be us like repeating ourselves.
See,
it's all part of how do a lot of live shows, man. They can become a train wreck real quick, especially if I'm on them. But yeah, so guys, this is a new show for y'all, right? Like this is a whole new thing, a new venture. Do y'all want to kind of? I know that's kind of the show topic. Tommy, Anthony, why don't y'all go in to kind of greet people and whatnot? I don't mean it like just. I'm excited about y'all's new show, so I want to hear more about it.
I'm excited to have you on. Like, what better way to kick it off than to have somebody that I can speak for myself that I look up to as a content creator and as an entrepreneur. So it's awesome to have you on for it. Me and Tommy have been kicking around this idea for a long time. This was always supposed to be in addition to the break room. It just so happened that, the break room isn't happening anymore. So we decided, hey, why not just keep it rolling with this show? See, Tommy's getting into a whole nother level of entrepreneurship, him and Destiny, as far as the merch business that they have going with their t-shirts and everything like that. I've done more entrepreneurial type stuff outside of just reselling. So I have a lot of experience in that regard as well. And we just really wanted to expand into a broader market. Not that we don't love the reseller community, we do, but we feel like even in this community, with everybody being such hustlers, it would be good to kind of show them other avenues of income. Because let's be honest, if you can make a full-time living on eBay or Amazon or whatnot, you can pretty much make a full-time living doing pretty much anything else under the sun. So we just kind of want to highlight different people's businesses, what they do, how they did it, and really the whole concept behind Entrepre-Doer is anybody can say they're an entrepreneur, but unless you're actually doing the work, nothing's going to work. Right. So that was kind of my idea behind it. Tommy kind of was the brainchild behind the actual concept for the show, and wanted to go a little bit further. So is there anything you wanted to share in that regard, Tommy?
Yeah, I'm not good working the 9 to 5, the 40, how would you put it, working for the man. I don't like to be bossed around. I'd rather be the boss, and even if it's only of myself. And I'm constantly looking for different ways to generate more money, outside of reselling. I got pretty well down pat. I've been doing it for years, but now it's where I'm looking for different ways to invest money to generate more revenue streams, because you never know what's going to happen with the reselling market or the platforms we sell on. At any time something could happen and you can lose that income. So I figure, get out there, research other ways to make money, talk to other people about the way they make money, they got in the business for themselves. And while we're doing that, why not bring them on a show and discuss it? So other people, can get ideas if they're looking to think outside the box or outside the resell thing, how you can generate some money, what's involved in different styles of businesses, and just kind of go like that. I figure I want to educate myself. Maybe we can educate some other people as we go along.
For sure. I think it's going to be awesome, man. I really do. I think that it's going to really be eye opening. And I know myself personally, I'm always looking for different ways to make money or to kind of add value to what I'm doing. So I think it's going to be really good.
And I'm just fumbling along, so I don't have any, like, I could share what I do, but I don't have any like knowledge really to provide. I just list stuff and ship it, because essentially that's my motto.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, what you've done though, man, it's really impressive. I mean, just the level you are. I mean, I know everybody's kind of at a different stage of their reselling journey, but I mean, to see where you are right now and where you've come, just in the time that I've been following you, in my eyes, it's very impressive. I mean, just the fact you got this entire space in your house that's pretty much jam packed full of stuff. Then you have 2 storage units on top of that.
Yeah. I mean, but when I first started, man, I started, and I've talked about this before, but I started selling. I used to be a toy collector, right? So when I was still working, I had a pretty good job. It wasn't like it was a career, right? I just decided to leave. It was super stressful. But the way I got started, I've been selling like on and off since like 2005. But I started to fund the reselling journey aspect of whatever I'm doing, right? I just started selling off a bunch of that stuff that I had accumulated, like collected. And then I took that money and I invested it in like items that I would need. I invested it in more inventory and that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So, and then it wasn't until that, I started that kind of like around, it was probably like toward the beginning of that year. And it wasn't until November that I was like, you know what, I finally had enough. And honestly, if I had been smart about it, I probably should have waited maybe a little bit longer, but it was that, or I was just going to end up walking out, so I put in my 2-week notice, because you never want to burn bridges, right? You just never know what life's going to bring. So, I mean, I didn't want to throw 5 years of really solid work experience down the drain because I got fed up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah. But that's how I started it, man. And then I didn't even get a storage unit until probably about 8 months after that. So, and then I just got the new storage unit more so out of necessity because we brought the niece into the house. So,
yeah. Now, when you first started, how much stress was there to make this thing work? Or like,
look, I'll be the first to admit that reselling full time, it can, especially if you're basically the one making most of the money for your house, it is not easy and it is super stressful. And you're going to have days. I was talking to you guys when we came on that my weekend was pretty slow, and, back in the day when, I didn't have like as much kind of like in accumulation, like that would really hurt. Like I'd be like worried, like, man, we got, electric, and, you get to those points that, when I first started, and I think a lot of people, if they're honest with themselves, would talk about that. But you eventually get to a point where like you build up and you kind of get better. The key to it is just constantly getting better at what you're buying, right? Getting better, making, building your capital so you can do the bigger buys, that kind of stuff. I mean, I don't know, man. I know that when I first started, it was super stressful, and it's not easy whatsoever. I think a lot of times YouTube can paint a picture of it being easier than it is. And I think you also have people on YouTube that kind of inflate what they're doing a little bit. So, you know what I mean? It kind of paints an unrealistic portrayal of what this really is full time and how it really works. I don't know. That's why I always try to warn people, like, I'm just showing you exactly what I do. I'm not trying to tell you guys that y'all should do the same. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I mean, I see that firsthand as far as going from watching the content, because I came into being an eBay reseller from watching Lonnie's videos. For me, it was like my church that me and my wife started closed, so I was at the point where I had no job. You know what I mean? There was no form of unemployment or anything like that involved. So I just started taking stuff from my basement to the flea market to make money just to pay bills. You know what I mean? And I'm battling with disabilities from being a wrestler. So like for me to go get like a regular 9-to-5 job with like labor and stuff like that, it's like impossible for me to do. And because of my age, like disabilities, like kind of difficult. So, and plus like if I'm able to work, like I want to be able to be an active member of society, and I want to be able to do those things. You know what I mean? Not that there's anything wrong with disability, because I have filed for it several times and been denied, but I just wanted to be able to do something, you know what I mean, rather than not contribute to the household. So as I'm going to, flea markets every week and selling stuff, I stumbled across garage flips, and I started watching, and just like Justin was saying, like it's more difficult than it looks. And I'm sure everybody that is here in the chat that does this knows, like, it's not like you get rich overnight, or even over a short period of time. It's a grind to build your business, to be bigger and to get to certain levels. Is there a specific place you'd like to see your business get to, Justin?
I mean, honestly, like I feel like if I could, like, okay. I think I've talked to like Lonnie and maybe Ryan about this before, but like where I want to be as far as eBay, right? I'm not one of these people that's going to be like, oh, I want to scale and get employees and all that. That's not what I'm trying to do here.
Yeah.
I want to get to a point where I'm shipping out less items, but like a net profit per day of like $400 to $500 net profit per day. That's where I would like to get to. That's like the 12-month goal, 12-month, 18-month kind of stretch goal. I want to be doing $400 to $500 net a day on eBay, and then also continue doing the YouTube thing. So that's kind of where I'd be pretty, if I could get to that point. Obviously, still, if you can make more, that's awesome. But if I could get to where I'm doing like $400 to $500 consistently net, not gross, but net, I think that would be a pretty good spot to be in. Yeah,
for sure. That'd be, I would say for myself personally, that would like completely be awesome days, because I very seldom hit $400 or $500 a day. But then again, I'm at I'm newer to the game than you, and I just haven't really scaled to that point yet.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even like, average day for me is like is between $200 to $400, somewhere in between there. If it's lower than 200, it's usually a pretty like weekday, because I have two stores, right? I have the RJ Flips and the Collector's Corner VA or whatever. So 200 to 300 is my average right now, but that's gross. So I want to get to 400 to 500 net. You know what I mean? So that's a bit of a climb. So I'm definitely not there yet, but that's it's good to have those goals, and they kind of know what you're working toward, and kind of have something in your mind of where you want to get to with this.
Yeah, definitely. Have you ever thought of like long-term goals? Like, because as you begin to age, it's going to become harder and harder to keep up the pace you're at. Have you ever thought about what you're
not? Look, for me, how old am I? Shit. 34, I think. I'll be 34 in October.
Yeah.
But I'm still relatively young. Obviously, for me, with my health, like I have a few health things. I'm not on disability or anything, because it's not to that extent. But I have like, fibromyalgia, and I have Hashimoto thyroid disease and all this crap. So I mean, I have some health stuff. So I think the more important thing for me would be moving forward into the future. Like, I want to get to a spot, kind of what I was talking about a minute ago, is where I'm shipping out less volume but higher dollar, right? I mean, I don't mind messing with volume. I'm not a ASP snob or anything like that. I don't mind selling stuff or whatever. It is what it is. I think this weekend I sold a video game for $2.70 plus ship. Yeah. So I'm not that guy. But get to a point eventually to where if I'm shipping out 5-6 things a day and making $400 to $500, that'd be a pretty good spot to be, as opposed to having to ship out 40 things to make that same amount.
Yeah, and I think that's something that's even doable, like, as you age. And Tom said age discrimination. I didn't mean anything by that, Tom. I just meant, like, some kind of a plan. Like, for example, I know Tommy's shared that he wants to be able to travel and do like the, FBA on the road, once he gets to a certain age,
that's my end game. I'd like to pretty much like Justin. I want to go with the less volume and the higher sell price, and not have to carry so much inventory, not have to ship out 15 things at a crack. I'd rather ship out 3 things that make the same amount of money.
Yeah.
And I look at it as like, man, I could use a warehouse, but really I got plenty of room in my basement if I go under that model. Carry less inventory with a higher return.
Yeah.
And I could go a lot further. And ultimately, I'd like to get into the Amazon thing, because that I can do mobilely, and I want to travel. Destiny hasn't seen much of the U.S., and I'd like to just get in an RV and go and have a business or a company that I can sustain while on the road.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that'd be awesome, man. Like, I would love to be able to do that with Ash too. My goal right now in the interim is I want to be able to scale to the point where she doesn't have to work as many hours, because she's planning to go to nursing school in September, because she wants to advance her nursing position at the hospital. So I want to be able to allow her to just work the 2 days that she needs to be able to have that paid for, and basically just focus on school and get some rest. So that's my goal for the next year, is to be able to get to that point. Like right now, I'm definitely not there. If she didn't pick up the extra hours, we probably wouldn't make it most weeks.
What about you, Destiny? What's your goal with your t-shirt biz?
My goal, my short-term goal is to be able to get everything and just learn it, because there is so much to learn when it comes to doing this, and more than I realized, honestly, but I do love it. And so my short-term goal is to do as much research as possible so that I can get this going and have fun at the same time. And also my long-term goal is to travel with Tommy. So I want to get it to where this is up and going and our daughter can take it over when we travel. She's really into it as well. So it's something that her and I are going to learn together and do. And right now they're gone for the week, but when they get back next week, I can show her what I've learned so that she can pick it up as well. And another nice thing too is I get to spend time with her. So it's amazing how something that was an idea started, and it's gonna bring me and my daughter closer because we'll be working together. So that's
I like that you guys are incorporating your kids into that entrepreneurial lifestyle too. That way it teaches them, like, essentially the American dream. Like, you don't need anybody to hand you anything. You can get what you want just by, putting your two hands to good work. Because that's essentially what the country was built on, is people coming over from places that they didn't have opportunity and just going and doing what they knew how to do to build their own businesses and whatnot. They had a really good documentary on, I want to say it's a History Channel or one of those type channels, called The Making of America. And it basically showed all of these guys coming over, and all of the big businesses, basically started from nothing, and just how they did it and everything. I thought that was really awesome. If you guys haven't seen that, you can probably check it out on demand or something, I would think. But it was a really good series. Hey, good morning, Lotta Josh. Happy birthday, man.
Oh, it's his birthday today? Happy birthday.
Facebook told me.
You do anything fun, Josh? You gonna go and celebrate? Get crazy with the wife? Game.
Ryan's got a birthday coming up on Wednesday, he said? So happy early birthday to you, Ryan.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. Yep. And then I have one toward the end of the month.
Yep, 27th, I believe you said.
Yeah, I don't pay attention to birthdays anymore because it's just getting older, and it's just one step closer to the coffin. So
yeah, full transparency, I do.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm looking forward to my next birthday. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm looking forward to my next birthday.
Oh yeah, man, you should, with everything you've been through this year.
Yeah.
So I'm just thankful I'm going to hit it. So
yeah, absolutely.
But happy birthday.
Hey, Lonnie, good to see you, man. Glad you're here.
Got a lot of people. Thank you all for coming.
We do. So I saw yesterday, Justin, you released a brand new channel. For
yeah, it's not reselling related at all though. So some people, if you don't, it's all about horror movies and stuff like that. Honestly, the biggest challenge is going to be just finding the time to put content there. I think I'm just gonna I don't really have hobby time as it is, so I think I'm just gonna have to sacrifice sleep time to actually put content there. But And I just can't let it cut into like, actual work time. But I put the first video up yesterday, just have something there, But yeah, it's RVA Gorehound, and I'm just gonna be like kind of talking. It's gonna be a little bit NSFW though, so just I bleep out the really bad words, but I have a lot of thoughts on a lot of these movies, so I'm never one to temper my tongue. It can get me in trouble sometimes.
Yeah, I went over and subbed. Like, I'm not even a huge horror movie fan, but I'm just a fan of you and your personality.
Oh, thank you.
I just wanted to kind of, keep following you along the journey, regardless of what you're talking about. So yeah, if anybody hasn't seen that, I'll get a link to it and drop it in the chat. If you guys want to go subscribe to Justin's new channel. I'm sure pretty much all of you are already subscribed to his main channel, RVA Flips. If you're not, man, you need to get out from under that rock. Because like seriously, he has one of the better reseller channels that I've seen.
Oh, dude, thank you, man. I see. In my mind, I'm just a guy like going to a storage unit every morning and filming it. But I appreciate the kind words, man.
You know what though? Like one thing I've noticed about you, like, because I try to observe. I just dropped the link to his new channel in the chat, by the way. One thing I do is I observe people, and you're up at the crack of dawn every single day.
Yeah, I get Pam into trouble. I get Ryan in trouble with Pam because he gets up really early too. So we'll start talking on Facebook at like 4 o'clock in the morning.
But yeah, that's in my eyes, that's a good trait because you don't have to. You work for yourself. You could get up at noon every day.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you could put in like a half effort, but literally by the time this show even starts or by the time I'm pulling my orders, you're already done with yours. They're probably shipped.
Yeah.
And you're getting into listing already. So like that to me just shows like a great work ethic. And just watching the progression of your journey. I've taken some things that you do. I've taken some things that Lonnie does, and I've put those towards my business, and I've seen growth.
That's awesome.
So,
that's
like
really cool.
anytime people ask me like, hey, what channels do you watch? I always mention you. I always mention Lonnie. I always mention Thrift Mind because I've picked up stuff from you guys that has made a positive impact on my business.
That's awesome, man. Because like, that's always good to hear, but like, that's not even why I put out videos. I mean, I just do it because I enjoy doing it. Like, if I didn't like putting out content, I just wouldn't do it. It's simple as that. But I love it though when people are like, man, like you actually helped me. I'm like, that's awesome because that's an unintended consequence of my footage. Because I just feel like I'm a dude that's just kind of like stumbling along what he's doing, like. So it's really cool when people are like, "Oh, you actually helped." I'm like, "Oh, that's really cool." Because there's people that we've never heard of that don't do YouTube that are like 20 times than me in sales, 50 times than me in sales, and we don't even know who these people are. And then of course there's people on YouTube that are claiming to do something that they're not even remotely doing. But that's a story for another day.
Absolutely. And that's why I've kind of taken the approach of, hey, I'm coming up on 1 year selling on eBay. So like, I don't claim to be an expert in anything. I just kind of like you said, I just share my journey and let people see. And I post my store out there so people can see that I'm like, no like expert on eBay. You know what I mean? Like, do I have several sales every day? Absolutely. But am I making even the goal that you've set out for? No, I'm like far below that right now. You know what I mean? Like if I'm making $100 to $300 a day, that's like right now, that's a good day.
Right.
You know I mean, because I still have those days where I might only make $60.
Right.
I mean, so
dude, I still get those days from time. I think everyone has those days still from time to time.
Yeah.
The way I figure it though is I take my 7-day total and then I divide it by 7 and I kind of average out, you know what I mean? So that's how I get to that, that number is because you're always going to have days that might be slower than you want, but as long as you're hitting that average, right? So take the total dollar amount made, divide it by 7, and that's your average for the week. You know what I mean? Per day. So that's the way I kind of do it.
Yeah, absolutely. What was it, Lisa or Dee that said that they learned how to make furniture from watching out of the priority boxes from watching you?
It only works though if you dive into them onto a concrete floor.
Yeah,
that video hurt like hell to make. I'll tell you that now. That video, like I did like multiple takes of me diving into the boxes, and my back was so sore. I mean, Anthony, from taking bumps and wrestling, but doing those dives, man, onto that floor in the storage unit was probably not the smartest moment of my life, but hey, it made for a good video.
I don't know how that video didn't go viral.
I don't know, right?
Is one of my favorite YouTube videos I've ever watched.
It was fun to make. It hurt like hell, but it was fun to make.
Yeah. I enjoyed that one a lot, and I enjoyed the one where Lonnie was making his what were they?
Yeah,
booklets and everything, like his courses.
You know what's funny though, man, is I think a lot of people, that joke went over their heads. I think a lot of people thought he was serious. I think to this day there's still people out there that think like he legit went marketer. I do. I think there's people out there that never got the butt of the joke there, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I think that was that for April Fools.
Everyone's got a little bit different sense of humor, and some people just their sense of humor is a little bit more dry than others. So not all jokes land with everybody. It's just the nature of comedy, right?
For sure, absolutely. Yeah, Moronic Pest says he's been doing eBay for 20 years and he still gets the occasional goose egg. Yeah, I had one either. I don't think it was last week. Might have been the week before last. Still trying to build everything up from being gone a week. Going in that vacation mode really hurt more after the fact than it did during the fact. Tracy says no one ever answers the shed line. She calls every day. It's because Candace really didn't quit her job, so she's not there to answer. Oh, Lonnie said he had to shut it down. That's awesome.
That was funny. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do this year. I'm going to do something for April Fools. I just haven't. I got to start giving it thought now so I can outdo the other thing.
As far as your YouTube channel, do you ever pre-plan your videos, or just like, okay, what I'm doing today, throw on the camera?
So for the reselling channel, no. The reselling channel is basically like whatever for instance, like when I put together a garage sale video, right? I have no idea what I'm going to find. I could go out and just be an absolute dud of a day. There's been some garage sale days I had to throw away all the footage because they're just bad. People don't they don't want to see me not buying anything. I've put those videos out and they did not perform well and people did not like them. So, I never know how the day is going to unfold. I know when I get up, the first thing I'm going to show is like, okay, I'm shipping out XYZ. Here's the items. Here's what they sold for, so forth and so on. So that, I guess, is planned. But anything else that, like today, I'm doing a $750 buy. I didn't range that deal, though, till like 3 o'clock this morning. So that's going to, that will probably be on tomorrow's video now that I think about it. Because, no, probably, I don't know. It depends on when I release a video today. Because like I said, I'm on same day uploads. But, I had no clue that was going to be something I was doing this morning, when I woke up. So, it's just, I never know what the day is going to be like. So it's kind of hard to plan out content. And I don't do a lot of there's enough people doing the, policy updates and seller update videos. And that's great. That's good content for people and people enjoy that. It's just not really the direction I'm trying to go. You know what I mean? Because I'm not an expert at anything. I'm not trying to be a coach or a guru or a teacher. If people can learn a little thing from my shenanigans, that's awesome. But I just want to put out content that's entertaining first and informative second.
Yeah, sure. Michelle's asking if you're going to do any movie reviews.
Yeah, so Michelle, I'm doing a lot of deep dives into horror movies. So I probably newer films I may do movie reviews with, but I'm kind of have y'all ever watched Angry Video Nerd or any of that kind of stuff?
Oh yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that's kind of there's I'm gonna do a series of deep analysis, kind of putting more meaning into a movie than probably exists or was intended to exist, and then I'll be doing some more done up reviews, kind of in the style of the Angry Video Nerd kind of thing, That's the plan. It's just I got to find time to do it. It's and the video yesterday took way too long to put together. It was it took me 4 hours because I had to script it. I had to find the clip. It took 4 hours, so I got to streamline that process a bit.
Cool.
But it's fun, it's the key to resell, and I think this is why Tommy resells, Destiny resells, you resell, Anthony, is I think you get to a point, and could all of us probably go back out in the workforce and make more money, apart from your disabilities and stuff, but we probably could, right? Let's just be frank. But what this job does afford is the freedom to what is life if you have a bank account filled with money, but you're miserable? You know what I mean? I don't know. I think life is too short not to enjoy living it, right? So
Absolutely.
as long as you can provide for your family, provide, have shelter, have housing, I've never been someone that needs the best of everything. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty content. I'm a pretty content person. I'm not a very materialistic person, which is funny because that's what we do for a living, right? We find material like crap and we sell it to people that want it.
Exactly.
But I think the key is, like, you should never like get. I think a lot of people get defeated too, right? They see like what other people's business is doing, and they kind of are like, well, why am I not there? Well, as long as you you need to make money, obviously, but as long as you can take care of yourself and your family or whatever, like, just keep going at it and just be happy. Life is really, really short. And that's something I try to always kind of close my videos off with sometimes, is like, just like enjoy what you're doing. Do not live to be a slave, I don't know. I'm pretty passionate about that though. So.
I mean, I've been there. I've been in higher paying jobs before that just like made me want to like literally pull out a noose. You know what I mean? And
right.
It's just horrible. Like, the everyday dread waking up and going to work. So the fact that like I can actually be excited to get up and go do something is awesome. And I think most of us probably started this as a hobby. Like, I know I did. I would, go buy and sell, Pokemon cards and video games and stuff like that, just so that I could get better ones, you know what I mean? And the stuff that I wanted for myself. So that was kind of what eBay used to be for me. And then once it got to the point where, I started watching Lonnie and I started watching you and I started watching some other people in the community, it was like, well, eBay could potentially just be a job, and I could kind of turn what I already kind of like to do into what I do. So that was kind of something that I really liked. And like you said, the freedom, you know what I mean? Like, if I have a doctor's appointment, I can just go. I don't have to ask anybody. You know what I mean? If my wife's off work, I could just take the day off with her. I don't have to ask anybody, you know what I mean? Or what? Obviously there's things that need to happen every day, like orders need to be shipped. That's kind of like a non-negotiable. As far as like Monday through Friday, this has become like a commitment for me. That's kind of going to be a non-negotiable, unless, obviously something in life comes up, you know what I mean? Like, I have to go to the doctors, or, whatever would happen, but trying to just kind of balance out my life with a little bit more joy and a lot less stress. It's been the nicest thing about reselling for me.
Yeah. Well, my life is filled with stress right now, just because we decided to take on a 13-year-old moody teenager. Going from zero parenting to having a teenager is very challenging. So I don't. If you have to do it, it's great, but I don't recommend it.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've been kicking around the idea of adoption, and we're not quite sure which age range we'd like to adopt, because we still want to try to go through like the, I guess, fertility treatments and whatever to have like our own child.
Sure.
So I've always like really thought it'd be nice to adopt like one of the older kids, like, because it seems like no one really wants the older kids.
Right.
Kind of get stuck in the system. But I don't know. It's been interesting watching, especially because we don't really have any parenting, skills outside of 2 dogs and a cat. But
right, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we've babysat before, but that's really like nothing compared to actually having a 24/7 person you need to account for.
Yeah, it's been challenging for sure. And and like me and Gabby, we've made a conscious decision. We've been married going on 7 years now, maybe past 7, maybe 8 years, I don't know, but we purposely have not had children because we don't want kids. So we take measurements to prevent that from happening. And it's challenging. I mean, I don't regret doing it, because you want to, at the end of the day, you want to do what's best for the kid. But if her mom could get into a spot where she could be comfortable and bring her back into her life, I think that would be good too. So who knows?
Yeah.
Parenting is challenging no matter what age they are. And so our children are 11 and 13, and we have very many stressful days. So it comes with the territory of having children.
Right.
Just know that you are doing something amazing for this child, and that's all you really need to do. You're going to have oops moments. And so, it is what it is. It's all part of parenting. It really is.
I think it's been cool watching you spoil her too. Like you'll be going through your storage unit, grabbing out all the different stuff.
Dude, it's really bad. I took her Friday. I took her to the craft store. She likes to do a lot of art, and she needed a bunch of paint supplies. So I ended up spending like 150, I think, on like a canvas and like a easel and a bunch of paints. Like, oh man, it's bad. But that's kind of like, I'm not a real like mushy gushy person with people. Like I'm pretty standoffish, to be honest with you. But like my love language, if you want to use that term, is like I just like buy crap for people. You know what I mean? Like, because I'm just not a real emotional person. You know what I mean? I'm pretty. My emotional state's always kind of been like, you know, just even keel. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So, but it seems like she's starting to bring a little bit of that out of you, though.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, you know, I'm a pleasant person, I think, but I am, you know, I'm not like the most outgoing individual. I can like fake it pretty well, like being outgoing, but like, you know, when I'm like not on YouTube or I'm not like out and about, like at garage sales, small talking up with people, I just assume like be in this room, like working in silence. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm the same way, man. Like I shut my basement door and I'm just down here in the dungeon. I think Tommy's the same way too.
Pretty much, man. Pretty isolated most of the time.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about having other people in this community. You know what I mean? Because if you're just down, you know, for me at least, just sitting in a basement all day can get kind of monotonous. You know, it's a nice thing being able to, you know, Facebook chat someone and not have to sit in a basement alone.
Do you like when the kids are down, Tommy?
Do I?
Do you like it when the kids are downstairs helping you?
Yeah, just because it's another living body down here, you know. I mean, sometimes it gets kind of depressing because you're below ground. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't. I mean, I got a window this big that I get natural light through, but that's like it. And then I'm just looking out at my trailer, so it's like you need to plant some flowers or something outside the window to give it a more pleasant view, because it does. It's lonely. I think reselling, especially if you're doing it by yourself and you're not working with anybody, it does get lonely. Mm-hmm. And I mean that's the bad part. That's really the only negative I can think of it. You know, it's a very isolating job.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Yeah, sometimes it's easier to just do things by yourself, and then there's other times where you're like, come here, I need you to stay up here with me. Let's work on this together, you know. But I don't know, it's like a happy medium sometimes here. Sometimes I'm like, just go to your man cave downstairs. Go. I love you, but go away. I need a breather for a minute.
For sure.
See, Destiny's got it okay though, because she's up there set up in our dining room, and right off to her right is like a big bay window. So like she gets to actually see other life forms drive by and walk by. Yeah, I don't see nothing.
I get the occasional spider.
Actually, I have the front porch windows down, the shade down, because the sun sometimes gets really bright and it hurts my eyes. So I drop those, so I don't get to see other living beings unless the kids are home. Right now they're gone for a week, so we're going to try to get as much as we can done while they're gone, and then when they come home, back to the grind.
See, Deep Fried Deal says, Tommy, you're just a staircase away from the family, though, right? Yep, and that too sometimes makes it hard to be down here, because I'm down here and I can hear everything that's going on because we don't have like an insulated ceiling or nothing down here. I hear the footsteps, I hear the conversation, I hear the laughing. It's like, ooh, I want to go have some fun too, you know. Nothing done.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he gets grounded to the dungeon a lot of times.
Quite a bit.
I'm like, go work. Will you go work?
Kelly just made an observation for you guys for this week.
Oh.
Work.
That wasn't her observation. Yeah, that actually came as a surprise that we don't have them this week. We get a week off from parenting.
Yeah, but now we have to do adulting stuff, and that's
Yeah,
just
it's just gonna be catch
stressful.
up time. That's really all it's gonna turn into.
Work.
Sure, you can find some time for some fun adult activities.
We fall asleep on the couch. We work all day, and we are so tired, and we just fall asleep on the couch.
That's pretty much it. I mean, we work and then we eat late dinners around here usually.
Mm-hmm.
And
Although,
so we'll
a
eat at like
dinner last night.
9 o'clock at night, and then okay, we'll find something to watch while we're eating dinner, and then we get into a show and it's laid back, grab the couch blanket, and that's where we stay for the night.
His Dora.
Dora. We got a Dora blanket. All right, so what?
But okay, so Tommy has a Dora blanket that Jaslyn, when she was 4 years old, gave Tommy because he got sick, and so she took her Dora blanket and she wrapped it around him. I actually have a picture. I'd have to find it. So she covered him up with her Dora blanket, and Joey, being 5, freaked out and had to go grab a golf club and give it to him because he's a boy. Like, parenting can be fun, but it's stressful a lot too. And so, just every time I see the Dora blanket, that memory always flashes in my head of how Jaslyn was concerned at a very young age and had to make sure that he was warm, and Joey freaking out, saying, no, he's a boy, and giving him a golf club. It was a toy golf club, but it is what it is. And yeah, Tommy takes a lot of naps too, because he gets up super, super early before the rest of us.
Mm-hmm.
I saw somebody was talking.
Tommy's a grinder too. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm usually up somewhere between 4 and 5:30 on average.
Yeah. See, I'm up all random hours in the night just because of like my back and stuff. So like that's when I'll do like a lot of either cross posting or trying to set up local deals, or just scouring the internet for stuff I can like snipe out on eBay or whatnot. So I'll do a lot of that throughout the night, and sometimes I'll even get up and come list.
Tommy, there's been mornings where Tommy has been up at like 2:30 in the morning. I mean, granted, it's a rare occasion, but usually that's when he gets like the really good deals. Because he's scrolling through his phone, and then he'll get the deal, and then I'll wake up and I'm hardly awake yet, and he's like, honey, look what I found, look what I got, we gotta go pick it up. And I'm like, yeah, let me get my coffee, please, and get dressed.
I'm like, we ain't got time for that. Get your coffee from Quick Trip on the road. Yeah. Gotta go now or we're gonna lose it.
Yep, exactly.
Tracy wants to know if you're doing any Amazon right now, Justin.
Here, I'll show you guys. Okay, I get that question a lot. Here, I'll show you how much Amazon I'm doing right now. Can y'all see that? There. I hate Amazon. Yeah. I absolutely hate Amazon.
I see enough of it to...
It's zero units in stock. Everything that I had in the warehouse I've sold out of. I absolutely hate Amazon. I know a lot of people do well with it. It is not for me. I would much rather get stuff at garage sales and estate sales and make, $40, $50, $60 on it than buy like 40 of something for $2 and make $1 or $2 net. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not for me. It's not my thing.
When you were doing it, did you sell much, or is it just like? I
did okay on it. I mean, I never really did it real hard. I'm not. I mean, the amount of fees. Like, if you guys, I mean, they like everyone like complains about eBay fees, but they've never sold on Amazon if they're complaining about eBay fees. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so yeah, I don't really do anything on Amazon, not anymore. I just not a big fan of the platform as a whole. But guys, I actually have to jump off. I appreciate you guys though having me, and I'm really excited about y'all's new show. I wish y'all the best of luck with it. Thank you so much for having me on the first day. I really appreciate it.
And you're welcome anytime, man. And thanks for staying a little bit longer than you said you were going to. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, man, it was fun. I gotta figure out. Oh, here it is. All right, thank you everybody in the chat for joining us. These two guys are good guys. Anthony's a good guy. Tommy and Destiny. So thank you for watching, and be sure to check out the show as it progresses onward. Thanks for having me, y'all.
Appreciate it, John.
Thanks for being on. You're welcome to come on anytime.
All right, sounds good. Bye.
See you, man.
Oh,
Tommy, I'm gonna have to jump off. I need to call my aunt. She was just in a car accident.
Oh, all right. Go back.
Call her. Just pray for her, please. Just make sure.
Yeah.
everything's all right.
You want me to pray for her now?
Yes, please.
What's her name?
Her name is Kelly.
Kelly. Okay. Lord Jesus, I come before you, and then I just ask that you would be with Kelly right now, Lord God. I ask that any injuries sustained, Lord God, would be healed in your mighty precious name. I ask, Lord God, that there be first responders that would be there to help her and to assist her, Lord God. And I just ask, Lord God, that you would just help Destiny with any kind of worry or whatnot that she may be going through, Lord God, and that your Holy Spirit would bring peace, joy, and comfort right now in Jesus' name. And Lord, I just I ask that this would not be severe in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let me know what's up.
I will.
And then there are you. Yeah. So, did you want to talk about kind of what you're doing entrepreneurial wise, or cast any vision for the show, or?
Well, right now, entrepreneurial wise, it's eBay, as pretty much everybody knows. Trying to gear in towards Amazon a little bit and help Destiny. The t-shirt printing is going to be Destiny's baby, but I'm helping her try to get that fired up. She's not real familiar with like supplies and stuff, so we're trying to get the right supplies for the right applications and all of that. So get her up and going on that. As far as the show, like I say, I'm always interested in learning different ways to make money, or how other people do it. I'm very like intrigued and curious on like how people start their different businesses and the struggles they went through. And that's pretty much where I would like to see the show go. I mean, definitely, like as you said before, stick to our roots. We're resellers. Yeah. That's what we do. That's what we know. That's what we can talk about. Mm-hmm. But I would definitely also like to look at other ways people make a living for themselves.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think that'll be really cool. And if there's anybody that's interested, you know what I mean, in sharing what you do for your business or anything like that, make sure you reach out to either myself or Tommy. And, we'd love to be able to highlight a few people in the community and, just kind of share what you do. And, you never know who you can inspire. Like I said, I started watching Lonnie's videos, and that kind of just got me into doing eBay full time myself. So you never know like who you're going to inspire to, start doing what you do or whatnot. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah. Another thing I'd like to do, I foresee myself doing in the future is, most people are familiar with the show Shark Tank, right?
Yep.
You're familiar with Shark Tank. And I would actually like to kind of get to a point to where I could do a spin-off version of that, like the Minnow Tank, where I would invest in younger people, like children's, teens, preteens, young people that have business ideas but don't really have a startup for it, Yeah. I mean, I'm no Shark Tank guy. I can't go and give somebody $60,000 for 8% of their business,
Yeah.
But I could definitely help, like a kid that wants to start up a lawn care business, or would like to get into reselling themselves, and front them, money for equipment and flyers and what they would need. I would love to do something like that.
That's a great idea, man. I actually know a couple people that'd probably be interested in being a part of a panel for something like that too.
Yeah, see that would be cool.
With you in that.
And actually kind of, kind of run it the same way. Maybe even do it on YouTube. You know, have people that submit their business plan, or say there's a kid that's doing it, and he's making 20. I don't even know what kids get now for lawn cutting, but doing $25 to cut a lawn, and he's like, man, I could do some bigger properties, but I need a riding mower, but I just don't have that money,
Yeah.
And just have these kids submit their ideas and basically do a presentation. Maybe we could even do it on YouTube. I don't know how that would work with the new YouTube rules or whatever, but something of a Shark Tank on a our budget type of scale,
Yeah. Tiffany's asking if we're going to create a Facebook group for this show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we should.
We can do that. Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. We're also going to be doing a podcast version of the show too.
Yeah. So essentially, we're just going to take the, I guess, raw file of whatever we record here, and then we're just going to start streaming it to podcast as well.
Yeah. So that way, if you missed the show, you're busy and running around, you want to know what we talked about, but you don't want to use up your bandwidth mobilely watching the video, you could just podcast it and listen.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really good. Today is basically just one of those days where we're just casting vision, kind of sharing. Hey, there's Mark Cuban's phone number. Nice.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, he's saying it's real. That's pretty cool if that's a real phone number. Yeah, the Cubes is from the Berg too.
Is he?
Yeah. Yep. He's from local to here. I kind of want to go on Shark Tank to strike up a deal with him, and literally the only thing I want from him is like airfare and season tickets to the Mavericks. Basketball fan.
So do you have any like big name entrepreneurs that you like really look up to, like Mark Cuban or?
I mean, I look up to everybody on the Shark Tank. As far as like entrepreneurs, I don't really have any like massive like big time entrepreneurs I look up to, but I look up to a lot of people that are like small business owners more so, just because I don't want to say I have an issue with big business, but I feel like once it gets to a certain level, it's almost dehumanizing to a point. I mean, the Shark Tank kind of allows you to see the person behind like the corporation or whatnot, but I really, really look up to a lot of people who start small businesses. Like I was telling you, like I've helped several people like start their own churches and, stuff like that in the past. So like I've gotten to see somebody like show up with like literally no experience, know nothing about running a business or, running a church or any of those things. And, I've gotten to be like hands-on showing people how to go about going from A to Z and then watching like them flourish in the process. So like I really like the startup, but I also like the sustainability part of it as well, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Okay,
See,
so
I agree with Joanna Parrish. She really likes Marcus Lemonis because he shows people their errors in the production processes. Whereas he has, for people that aren't familiar with him, he's on the show The Profit, where he invests in failing businesses and revamps them. And he started from nothing. He was adopted. He started from nothing, working on his dad's used car lot, and he's built a really good empire. But yet he's still a very down to earth, casual dude, And he's one of my favorite people that I like to look up to. How is the aunt?
okay, she's actually in chat. Thank heavens.
thank
So
God.
she sends me a picture. All right. the whole back end of her car is messed up. So I thought she was rear-ended with the way that it looked, and she wasn't responding. And so me being me panicked, and I had to call her. She is fine. She backed into a very big truck pretty fast.
Ouch.
She is in chat. She is good. She couldn't respond earlier in your chat, so she wasn't sure what was going on. The phone wasn't giving her, like, she couldn't say hi. She couldn't do this, a lot of stuff. And now she's able to respond or to write in chat, but she is good. Thank you for the prayers.
Awesome.
It definitely worked because she wasn't responding. So I was like, what's going on? And the picture did not look very good. And here it was her own sassiness. And so she even said in chat, she's like, I'm fine, just a heavy foot. So, Auntie, you have to explain more before you just send a picture and then not respond. I love you dearly.
We're glad she's okay.
Absolutely.
Yes, me too. So I definitely wanted to give an update as soon as she was, I talked to her and everything. So
Glad to hear that.
yeah, the back end of her car is not very pretty. So it's looks way worse than it really was. So
I'm glad that she's okay.
So what are your thoughts? What do you have in mind, Anthony? Thoughts as far as like the show goes?
Well, I think I want to keep the chat heavily involved as we have, and I'm sorry to everyone present that we haven't, really greeted everybody like we normally do. We'll correct that for the next episode, but I definitely like chat involvement, and I like everybody being a part of it, just kind of like they were with the break room.
Right.
But I really I think this is going to be a show that evolves. You know what I mean? Like, I think like we're on to something here, and I really think where we're at and where we think we're going, it's going to evolve into something much, much bigger. But I really just think that this is going to open new doors for us. It's going to open up new doors for our community. Because to be, like I said earlier, to be a reseller, you have to be a hustler. And to be a businessman, you have to be a hustler. And businessman, that goes for women too, businessman, businesswoman. But I really think that we're going to have some guests come on the show that are going to just open up doors that we didn't know were possible to a lot of us. And I'm excited to see kind of where that goes. And yeah, like Tiffany says, you have to think outside the box. And that's kind of what we're trying to do with this show. Like I want to reach out to people that are outside the community that are, doing all kinds of different avenues of business. And I think that it's going to be really cool to see, maybe we'll get somebody on here that's a wholesaler or something like that. And they're looking to expand their business. And what do you know? We have a whole lot of people in the chat that are looking for wholesale prices on their items. You know what I mean? Like, so I think this is going to be something that's going to be beneficial to a lot of different people in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
I think it's exciting that you are going outside the box and you're going to be bringing more people from different avenues of how they make money in. And I think it's going to be phenomenal. I really think you guys are going to do a phenomenal job with this. And thank you for having me today.
Not a problem. Well, we wanted to because you're an entrepreneur yourself.
I'm just pardon. I didn't grow up.
That's what makes it cool though, because you'll be able to kind of show, like, instead of I've already got an existing business and talk about what you've done to get there, you can talk about what you're actively doing to get there.
Yeah. And as a consumer of your business, I got to just say publicly that I am beyond thrilled with the drafts and stuff that you've sent me. Like I've reached out. My wife wants to get some custom Disney shirts made for when we go to each one of the parks in December, and they're making us matching shirts for each park. I know that's a little dorky, but if it makes my wife happy, I'll do it. And a friend of mine, a really good friend of mine's having a birthday early November, and they're making a custom mug for him and his new ministry. So I was beyond thrilled with the mock-up on that too. And, I've already basically committed to doing Pittsburgh merch with them as well. So if you guys are interested in any of that kind of custom work, like as a customer, I'm letting you know right now, I fully endorse them.
Well, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
That is awesome. And Nate, I need you to, I'm going to shoot you a message. I need some information from you too, so we can get your stuff together.
Did you see what my aunt said? She says, Destiny, you're so pretty. You're better to look at, but the guys are handsome too.
Well, thank you.
Let's see. Oh, another question. Oh, Tom was asking when I'm going to Disney. We leave December 11th, and I'm not sure how long we're gone for. It'll be at least a week. Sometimes Ashley makes it longer.
See, and that's one thing that's nice about being the entrepreneur, because if you're working a regular 40, 50-hour a week job and you want to extend your stay, you can't just, like when we were on our workation, we decided to stay an extra day. And if I was punching a clock somewhere, I would have either had to call and finagle it without getting in trouble, or come up with a sick day, or we just said, want to stay another day? Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, it was like a spur of the moment thing too, but we do a lot of things that are spur of the moment. We really do.
We do too. We're very spontaneous people.
Yeah, we made that decision about 4 hours before checkout. It was like,
not even. I think it was closer to checkout, honestly, when we finally were like, yeah, let's stay another night. But the saltwater pool was amazing.
But
that is already figured out as far as our trip goes. Not only does she have like pretty much every day pretty much scheduled as far as what we're doing in parks, when we're doing it, blah blah blah, but she's also scheduling out for me time for us to go to the outlets, because they have these things called character warehouses, which are places that the stuff that was at the park gets sent after a certain amount of time, and it's on sale like anywhere from like 50 to 75% off there.
Oh, wow.
So we go there every time we go, and I normally will pick stuff up for souvenirs there rather than spending park prices. But also what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy stuff for resale down there. So I should be up and going on Amazon. So there's all brand new stuff. It's all in good condition. I'll either go Amazon or eBay with it for the most part, but she's set up time for us to go down there. The only issue is they have a limit on what you can buy, so resellers don't come just wipe out the entire store. So we're gonna go. They have, I think, 3. There's 2 in Orlando and 1 outside of Orlando. We're gonna each go, and we're gonna do separate orders at all of them. So we already have a plan on going and sourcing, and every time we go, we hit the flea markets. And this year, I think we're going to try to hit a couple yard sales while we're down there too.
That's
cool.
We'll be making some definite money on the trip. Hopefully, probably won't make enough to pay for the whole trip, because I don't think she's going to give me that much time for work. But we'll make something, which is better than nothing.
A little bit's better than nothing at all.
Yeah.
I was in Florida, 2 Novembers ago? It'll be 2 Novembers ago. And my aunt, Kelly, who's in the chat, her and my cousin, they took me all over the place. And down there, and they're in Jupiter, West Palm Beach, those areas.
Yeah.
And it was a whole different experience down there doing that, going to their thrift stores, than it was up here. Like, I know what things are for the most part around here, because this is where we live. Going down there, I had to ask my aunt. My aunt laughed at me a lot. I know she did. But there's like things I didn't know. And so I was asking her. And so I probably sounded really, what's the word I'm looking for? Naive on a lot of things. But you're gonna love it down there. You really are when you go to those places, because it's so much different than where you live.
Yeah.
And I don't even know how many thrift stores there were in a block, like, I don't know, a couple blocks,
Yeah.
and
We've put thought into moving to Florida, just
Mhm.
for that fact, because she's in nursing and I'm a reseller. So literally there's so many opportunities in Florida, because all over the country, basically old people are moving to Florida for retirement and stuff. So
Yeah.
that covers her, and there's resale, or there's yard sales year round down there, and flea markets 7 days a week and all that. So there's a lot more opportunity for a reseller down there too. So we put thought into it, but we've kind of put pause on that until she's done with nursing school and everything like that. And she may even try to build a career at the hospital she's at now, or at least in the hospitals in Pittsburgh, because Pittsburgh's a really great place for healthcare, with like UPMC and all of that. So we may end up staying here long term. It just, I mean, I don't mind. I love Pittsburgh. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have named my channel Picksburgh if I didn't love Pittsburgh. But it's something that we have tossed around, maybe moving. As far as like opportunities for her, like this is one of the better places in the world for healthcare. There's people that come from all around to Pittsburgh just for certain like treatments and stuff like that are cutting edge. So
Yeah, if I'm sure my aunt wouldn't mind, but if you guys decide that you want to go, you are going to move down to Florida. My aunt's a nurse.
Okay, cool.
And so if she has any questions, I can talk to my aunt and see if I can hook you guys up so that her and my aunt can talk about, that kind of stuff for down there, because my aunt's been doing it for years. And my cousin, her daughter, she is a surgical nurse. And so they can give her the ins and outs of down there for nursing and everything.
Awesome.
So I'm pretty sure my aunt's pretty cool with that. So
awesome.
Awesome.
I'll definitely keep that in mind.
Yeah.
DC Sales is asking if I'm flying and will I ship my stuff back the way. Yeah, we're definitely flying, and I'll probably ship my stuff back cubic. This time though, I'm going to probably pack some shipping materials. I don't know if I'm going to pack boxes, but what I'll probably pack is like my box cutter, tape, like stuff like that. I kind of had to do a lot of that on the fly at Derek's, and I didn't have like all the stuff I normally would. The way I weighed my packages was just by going like this and just guessing. Luckily, like I do that enough to where Nate says don't leave, and it gives me Macaulay Culkin. Yeah, I mean, nothing's set in stone, Nate. So I very well might not leave Pittsburgh. It's just something that we had thought about in the past, because she loves Florida so much, and being out of the cold is good for my achy body. But we haven't really like committed to that one way or another.
Eric actually has a question for you, Anthony. He would like to know, did you get approved on Amazon?
Oh yeah, I saw that. I forgot to mention it though. As of right now, no. What I'm going to do though, I was talking with Nate about it this weekend because he had some issues when he was going through the process. I have a big like inkjet printer underneath like the table where my computer is, that has a scanner on it. I'm going to go through and I'm going to scan all of my stuff, because I've been taking the pictures through my phone that I've been submitting all the stuff on. So I'm wondering if maybe it was glare, or maybe they just want a more professional looking picture of like my ID and my passport and all that good stuff. So I'm going to try scanning all the materials they're asking for this time around, and hopefully that will allow them to accept it, because I have no idea why they're not accepting what I'm giving them, because I'm giving them, decent, I thought they were decent shots. You know what I mean? I take pictures of stuff pretty much for a living, so I thought they were good enough pictures. But I'm going to go ahead and try it with a scanner. Hopefully that'll help. And then I should be able to get on. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't let me sell on Amazon, especially with my track record on eBay. But I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Lisa C's asks, is there an auction tonight? Yes, there is.
Yep.
We are having an auction tonight. It's going to be on my channel this week. And as far as I know, it's just me, Anthony, and Rebecca. Unless there's somebody else that would want to come on and unload some stuff, we'd be more than welcoming.
I'll probably get together a few more lots this afternoon. But I've already got 3 or 4, maybe 5 lots together already. So
yeah, we got some. So I actually think this afternoon I might run out to my storage unit and grab some stuff too. Not quite sure. Otherwise, I got plenty around here too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'll be at 6 Central starting, right?
Yep.
6 Central, 7 Eastern.
Yeah, I always get confused. I don't have it scheduled yet, but I'll schedule it as soon as I get off here so people can set their reminders. So watch for the notification.
Yeah, should be a good auction. I knew I had some stuff that would be decent for the auction in my van, because I've literally been using my van for overflow storage, full transparency. So I went through it yesterday and kind of organized it, and I donated literally almost a full van load of stuff, just that was pretty much flea market stuff, you know what I mean, and got rid of all that. And I should be able to put together a couple lots. I know I have a bunch of craft stuff left, from a craft store that we bought stuff that was going out of business. I should have some left. I don't know how much of it I sold over the summer at the flea market, but
got any vinyl?
I don't know. I'll have to look. I don't even know what's all in there, to be honest with you. I just know a lot of the bigger, bulkier stuff I donated because it wasn't really eBay worthy and it wasn't really auction worthy. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to auction off junk either. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just to make space and to kind of make my life a little more manageable. I went and I donated more stuff yesterday.
Well, let us know what you got. Yeah. We'd be interested in somebody that will do some swapping or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw DC Cell says there's a lot of liquidation in Kentucky. We would actually like to have somebody that does liquidation on the show, just to kind of talk a little bit more about that avenue of business as well.
Cliff said good morning to you twice there, Tommy.
Hey, what's up, Cliff? I'm so behind on the chat today, guys. I really got to apologize. I've been trying to kind of catch up and read.
It's all good. It's all good.
From what I understand, too, Florida-wise, there's no state income tax. Is that true for anybody?
I don't know. Aunt Kelly, are you still in the chat? She'd probably be the best one to answer because she lives there now. So.
Yeah, I know Nevada's like that. That was one of the reasons we were considering that too. There's no state tax.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I don't know how you would be in Florida though, Tommy.
Okay, Lisa says no state income tax. Awesome. How does that work with taxation, Lisa? Is it just basically you pay tax on products you buy, or do you not have to file taxes every year? Or I'd be curious to figure that out too. I wouldn't even mind having you on sometime, Lisa, if you'd ever be willing, just to talk about the accounting side of business. You know what I mean? Since you've worked in that field,
right?
I know I'd love to have we'd already talked about it off air, but wouldn't mind having DC Sales on sometime to kind of talk about the business that you and your husband do.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Jim and Tara said there's no state income tax in Florida, Tennessee, and Texas. That's awesome.
Yeah, Lisa C says I pay 6% sales tax. That's it.
Yeah, I think we pay 7% here in Pennsylvania, and we have the income tax.
What do we pay here? I don't even know.
5.5.
I wonder how that works on a business if there's no income tax. Are you still paying taxes as a business in Florida?
Yeah, I don't
tax
know.
they have. Okay. Yeah, we have property tax here too. Pennsylvania tax you on everything if they can.
Some counties are a bit more.
8% in Philadelphia.
D says they dabble in liquidation, but it takes a lot of work to sell through the not so great stuff. Yeah, I can imagine. You probably have to do a lot of flea marketing to get rid of a lot of that stuff. D says she has 10 jobs. I can imagine. It's hard being an entrepreneur. You know what I mean? Like, for example, when we started our church, I literally was the pastor, I was the janitor, I was the groundskeeper, I was the handyman, I was the advertiser. Like, literally any job you could think of in the church was my job because I was the only employee. You know what I mean? So it's, yeah. I fully understand. Like, especially as a startup entrepreneur, you're literally like pretty much the business is on your shoulders.
Yeah.
Just trying to catch up with chat too. Cliff says no sales tax and what is that? I can't see that far. That's where my freight forwarder is located.
It's awesome.
Wow.
Is it a lot more difficult with you getting product in Canada, Cliff? I would actually I wouldn't mind talking with you in regards to the 3D printing stuff and just the way it is as far as, being an international, well, for us, international seller and everything like that. I'm sure that Canada has its own, stuff that you can source from, but that's an interesting thing, is having to then source from the United States and the higher prices and shipping and all that.
Yeah, I had to cancel an order today because it was a nice purchase too.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Can they not see their shipping? If you're, the only thing I do is global shipping through eBay.
Mm-hmm.
But they bought it and then they said, "Oh, I can't afford the shipping."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, "Well, I only ship through the global shipping program." And it was going to Canada, and I probably could have did the simple export. It's a smaller item.
Yeah, I mean, simple export would have saved a lot of money. What I do a lot of times is I'll look at the feedback. If they have a decent feedback record, I'll offer simple export. But I don't always, on all of my listings, start with simple export. I'll typically start with the global shipping, because I've had so many people in, like, for example, like India, different countries like that are, zero feedback, that'll come on and they'll buy something and just like ghost me for the most part. You know what I mean? Like I've sold a bike helmet to Malaysia, or not a bike helmet, a motorcycle helmet to Malaysia 6 times now, and every single time I accept an offer from somebody from Malaysia, they just kind of ghost it and never pay it. So
yeah, I don't know.
Simple export up front.
They bought it 2 days ago, and so I sent them a payment reminder this morning, and then they're like, "Well, I can't afford to do the shipping. I can't afford the shipping on it. I'll give you this much all inclusive ship to Canada." And I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't do that. Mm-hmm. I only ship through I like the protections through the global shipping program. So if you don't want to go through that, I'm not that worried about international sales. The item I know will sell within the States fairly quick too. But it's like, don't they see, when they made the agreement to purchase, they see how much it's going to cost. So
I would think that they would see that, because anytime I've ever made a purchase, especially whenever it's calculated shipping or whatnot, it always does tell me up front like how much it would be, with all of that included. But they may have just been trying to like shekel you down a little bit on price, which it's understandable. But for me, like, if I see a decent track record, I'll offer global shipping. simple export shipping, only for the fact that I think eBay is going to move in that direction anyway, as far as like with their new, payment or whatnot. Global shipping is not even available in it, so I just see, the global shipping program being like kind of phased out too. I don't know if that's factual or not, but with their simple payments or whatever through eBay, you can't.
No, but don't see. This is why I don't do the main reason I don't do the simple export is because you can't ship everything to every country. And how do you know what you can ship where and what countries not to ship to? How do you figure that out?
Yeah, because there's some countries you cannot send fragrances to, like colognes, perfumes, or whatever. I saw one of Lonnie's videos. You couldn't send, what was it, like clarinet music or something like that, or trumpet music, or something to a certain country.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. How do you figure out? And then I've seen so many people say don't ship to this country because they have a horrible mailing system, and so how do you I don't want to have to keep track of what I can ship where, and all that. I have the simple export added to my pirate ship. I like I say, it's just if I was to do it, I'd be real limited on my shippable countries, and then I still got to know what can go where, and that's why I do the global shipping program. I figure they take care of all of that.
Yeah, sure. Cliff, just go ahead and shoot me a message or an email, man, whenever you're free, and we'll work it out. We should be doing this show Monday through Friday, so we're pretty much flexible. So just let us know. We'll make it happen. Yeah, and again, it's something like, for example, simple export versus global shipping. It's whatever you're more comfortable with as a business. You know what I mean? Like if you would rather have the protection right now and stick with that, then that's what you should do. Whatever makes you more comfortable as the entrepreneur. For me, it's like I still keep it at the global shipping program unless I feel comfortable offering the simple export. I do a little bit of both, so it's just kind of whatever I feel most comfortable with, because you can almost kind of get a feel with some people depending on how they're messaging you, whether or not they're trying to, scam you out of the product or not.
Right. I mean, I wouldn't mind doing the simple export if somebody could actually walk me through the ins and outs. Not just I know how to do it. I've used it before as far as printing the label and stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about like the ins and outs of where to ship to, what not to, and
Well, I mean, I'd be willing to help you with whatever you need. Like that's not a problem. But yeah, I mean, as far as what can go where and all that, I don't even know if I would know everything. Like for me, that would be like probably a "Hey Siri," like what can I ship where? And
okay, I found this on the web for what can I ship where.
I didn't even press the button. She's spying on us. Apparently, Siri likes the new show. That's crazy.
Oh, there's.
Lisa says Katie and Vicky have a great video on it too. I'll have to go look for that.
I've had really good experience with Canadian buyers, though. So typically, if I see they're coming from Canada and they at least have some purchase history, even if they have, they have 39 feedback, at least I know that they're an eBay purchaser. Like they've done something on eBay. You know what I mean? Then, I have no problem working with, Canadian buyers.
Right. And I don't mind it. They're like right here,
Exactly. It's basically like I could probably get to Canada in the same time I could get to you.
Yeah.
They're not too far.
But when it comes to shipping to all these little countries and stuff like that, like I say, people said don't ship to I'm trying to think of one of the places I've heard people say don't ship because they have a horrible mail system. Stuff's always getting lost, and I know there's a few of them like that. So I would just make that not an available country that I'd ship to. But I don't know. I don't know enough about it. I don't get involved in things I don't know enough about, so that's why I'm not doing it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
he does a lot of research before he starts jumping into things.
If somebody would like to come on the show sometime and break it down for me, I'd be more than happy.
Sure. Absolutely. I think that'd be a good show to have is, should you incorporate simple export into your business?
Because I mean, I do know, and I've seen with other people that it can boost your sales if you can offer a lower international shipping rate. So I definitely have an interest in it. I just need to know more about it.
Yeah. I've noticed, Dee's talking about she's kind of torn. They've been getting beat up with items not as described on DVDs and games because they don't accept returns. She's thinking about changing and charging for shipping. I've only done free shipping on items where the market basically dictates free shipping, and I've done well with paid shipping, free returns, or returns on everything. I think it opens up a little bit more of the market for you. And honestly, since I've changed from no returns to returns, like I haven't seen any bump in returns or anything like that personally. I don't know if you could speak to that, Tommy, if you've seen, because you offer free returns too, right?
No, I used to be a big advocate for free returns. I totally but then we were just getting so many, and I was like, screw this. So I started doing buyer pays returns. I do a 30-day return, buyer pays. I didn't notice really any drop in sales, but I did notice a drop in the returns.
Yeah.
I haven't had a return now.
As far as because I've had people even inquire about returns, and if they see that it's required on their end, then they're like, do I really want to return that and have to pay, $8 to get it back to them?
Right. And I think it makes serious buyers that know they want the item buy the item versus these people, well, I'm gonna buy it and check it out, and if I don't like it, I'll send it back, or I'm gonna try it for a while, And I mean, that's what we had a lot of people would have the item for 3 weeks, or the day before the return period be up, and then they did file for a return.
Yeah.
I was just like, I mean, I never had a super high amount of returns, but it always seemed like it was the ones that were going to cost more on the postage returns is the ones I'd get. So
most of the returns I get is like the item's defective. And if the item really is defective, or I didn't have a chance to properly test the item, then I'll just refund the buyer and say keep the item. But for the most part, most of the stuff I send out is fully tested, and like I'll pretty much stand by that. So like if I send out, say for example, like a N64 game, I'll be like, well, I fully tested that game. Like for example, you can go to this video and watch it fire up first time. Because a lot of this stuff like that I'll actually test, and I'll do it like either in a working hangout or during like one of the video game series, which I haven't even done in a while. Probably need to get back to that at some rate.
Yeah, like Dee says, flipping particles, a lot of people open returns but never send it back. That we get. I get a lot where they'll open it and I think they see, oh, I got to buy the label. No, yep. I ain't sending it back.
I've had that happen a time or two. I don't have that too often. Normally they'll reach out to me, and then they'll just be like, yeah, go ahead and send it back, and then we'll work out a return. And most of the time they don't want to send it back.
She also says the free returns protects you from negative feedback, especially on BS returns. That it does. I know there's some real good pros to it, but I guess I haven't had a feedback issue that I've been concerned about. I'm at 100% positive feedback. So, I mean, if I see a spike in all of a sudden negatives or something, then I might change my mind.
Yeah, I only have one negative feedback, and it's from something that was like bought, and then like 90 plus days later, they got a hold of me and wanted to return it. And I was like, yeah, no. Like, you've had this game for a while, you've played it, and no.
Yep.
Couldn't you have gotten that removed, considering that it was way past?
I probably could have, but I didn't even know that was a thing at the time, to be honest with you. It was like pretty new into like me having an eBay store. So I didn't even know that you could call eBay and get stuff removed.
Okay.
So I probably could have. But I think now it's probably past time to do it, because that was forever long ago.
You had a really bad one, didn't you, honey? When you first started, the person was trying to pick a fight with you on your feedback on eBay, and you had to call eBay and have it removed because it was just really weird. Do you remember?
I don't even remember. That was so long ago. I'm trying to think. I have called and had one feedback removed. I don't remember the incident.
Was it the hair dye one?
I don't remember.
I got a neutral feedback one time. Matt's talking about got neutral feedback the other day for no reason. I've gotten neutral feedback one time because I sold I think it was a GameCube game, and they're like, seller didn't clean the case before sending it. And like, it was literally just something that was sitting on a bookshelf. Like, what did you want it, like, polished, looking like cellophane fresh? Like, it wasn't even a dirty case. Like, if it was like nasty, like, I would have wiped it down with a baby wipe, or I would have Goo-Goned it or whatever. But it was just a regular case, like, been sitting on my bookshelf for probably a month or two. So yeah, I got neutral feedback because I didn't clean the case prior to sending it, which I thought was like really weird because I don't send out anything looking disgusting.
Yeah, I agree with Lisa. She says, I wish we could leave buyer feedback like you used to long ago. I wish too, because there's bad sellers out there, but there is also bad buyers that I think people should be made aware of.
Yeah.
Some people make it, that's just what they do. They run around and try to scam off of eBay, and nobody is allowed to know that because eBay doesn't allow you to give a bad feedback. And I don't really find that fair.
Yeah. Lisa says it's a one-way street. Yeah. I think a lot of times eBay just sees the buyers as the one bringing in money, but without the sellers, there'd be no one for them to spend money on.
Exactly.
But I understand, like, sellers should be held in check. You know what I mean? Because there's poor sellers out there too. You know what I mean? Like, I remember whenever I first started doing eBay back in, good Lord, probably like 1999 or whenever it was. I remember I ordered, this guy was supposed to have an actual CD of like Eminem's, like, Underground, whatever, like his CD before his like first CD came out that wasn't like released publicly or whatever.
Right. And
the first CD that didn't even have the right songs on it. So I mean, there's definitely like bad sellers out there too, but there's, in my opinion, most of the bad sellers, like, pretty much a lot of it nowadays is probably just people making mistakes for the most part, because eBay's pretty diligent of making sure that stuff's done right.
Right.
Especially now after however many years of bad, seller experience that they've probably gone through over the last couple decades.
Yeah. Okay. I suppose we should probably wind her down, eh?
Yeah, we've been going about a little over an hour and a half, so very good ending. We'll be back tomorrow on my channel, so if you're not subscribed, please make sure you go and turn that red button gray, and tomorrow you can come hang out with us again. And we'll, like I said, we'll be doing this 5 days a week. Me and Tommy will basically just be alternating days.
Yeah, we're gonna alternate just like we did with the morning show. It's just there'll only be 2 channels now to keep track of instead of 4.
Yep.
So,
We're very proud of you guys, but I am gonna jump out real quick. You guys have a great day. Much love, and we'll talk to you guys again soon.
See you guys.
Bye.